Thank you, Madam Chairman. I appreciate Ms. Valancourt's statement and her courage in defending herself against these allegations. I voted against the agenda because, as I had shared previously, I think that this is an awful idea. This is something that we don't have any conclusive proof on beyond Ms. Valancourt's probably ill-advised direct letter to the ethics panel asking questions, but she did include all of us on that communication. And since that was done over email, I guess that's public, so I'm not disclosing anything that's confidential. With regards to the wording within this resolution, considering we just received this, I think, around 3:45 Eastern Time yesterday, I'm concerned with the wording on this because, as I shared, when the board took action on this behind closed doors, and I can say whatever I want to because it's my own words, I think that this is going to open up a can of worms that is going to hurt the institution of the school board. The fact of the matter is we all temporarily occupy these seats, and they will be occupied by somebody else before us and somebody else after us. These seats belong to the people, and at the end of the day, they belong to the hearts of the children in our school system. And I think that this action is destructive to the school board. When I see words in here such as disclosing the substance of the board's deliberations to third parties, and so I look at that one, and though we don't have per se any written evidence to support these accusations, I have a list of emails in my inbox with documented evidence of another board member doing exactly that. So where we have evidence of that actually happening, and I think even some public disclosures were made on Howard Public Ed today about a certain board member making disclosures like that to third parties. We have evidence and the board doesn't take action, but when we don't have evidence, the board does. That seems like a completely unequal protection under the law. When I look at by interfering with the conduct of an ongoing ethics panel investigation by improperly inserting herself into the panel's confidential processes, I don't think we have a determination by any legal authority on that. I think that that is based upon the legal advice that I believe we received. I don't think that that's a fair conclusion either. And the board, up until this point in time, has not voted on this resolution. Then there is a conclusion in here that says that somehow this conduct undermined the board's action and authority as a statutory body responsible for the public schools in this county. Again, we have no evidence to suggest this. Anything about undermining authority or undermining statute is a legal requirement, and I don't think the board is empowered to make that determination. That's only a determination that a court of law could make. We as a board cannot make a determination on whether someone violates the law, so I think that that's actually germane against Robert's Rules of Order. And so I think that the wording of this is atrocious. I think it's destructive to the intentions of the board. I think that in light of the fact that we have evidence of board members actually doing this, and it's not Ms. Valancourt, and we're not taking action, yet we're somehow the board as a corporate entity is going to sanction one of its board members, is the worst form of injustice and highly ironic when we just approved a resolution celebrating the fact of overcoming injustice.
Board members? Dr. Siddiqui.
I think it's always important to remember why we're here and what does it mean to educate our children. You know, it's not just about them getting into a good college or a good job. We're here to educate our children to make them good citizens, citizens of the county, citizens of the country, citizens of the world. And citizenship requires self-governance. And you know, as a board member, as a member of the community, I mean, that starts right here. And so I think it's important that the board and how we conduct our business, that we, you know, follow our own governance rules and stick by that. That's all I have to say, Mrs. Giles.
Okay. I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Motion passes 6-2. Okay. We move on to the policy portion of the agenda, Policy 8000 Curriculum. Ms. Albert and Dr. Evans.
Good afternoon. I'm before you this afternoon to present the changes that were made to Policy 8000 curriculum. The policy and its implementation procedures were revised to reflect current best practice and the requirements of Policy 2020, so that we have language added to the policy statement to make it clear that the Howard County Public School System uses a standards-based curriculum, that curriculum is designed to make sure that our students achieve consistent with the level of their peers, both locally, across the state, the nation, but also internationally. We then modified definitions of acceleration and written curriculum. When the policy was originally written, Howard County used the term essential curriculum, and what they spoke to was what students were expected to know and be able to do. In most cases, those things are now referred to as the curriculum standards. So we are replacing that concept in our document, so we changed the definition. The one that was there for essential curriculum is now the definition that we are using for curriculum standards, with the definition for curriculum standards. We are making it clear that the curriculum resources that will be provided will reflect the principles of universal design for learning, so that if you look in the statements and the standards, you will see that it indicates that our resources should illustrate multiple ways of representing information, multiple ways that students can demonstrate what they know, and multiple ways to engage learners with the content of the unit or the lesson. Those are the three core principles of universal design for learning. Updates have been made to the references section of the policy as well. When we look at the actual implementation procedures, there was a minor correction made there where a word had been omitted previously, and that word has now been added. Are there any questions?